guys, today we're going to be drawing these super cute capybaras on vacation. Our capybara is at the beach. He's ready to get his tan on. He's got his little floaty, or she, you can make it a boy or a girl, okay? And we're going to be drawing our capybara first, okay? So you're going to get a piece of watercolor paper. This is watercolor paper, so it's going to be thicker. It's really nice paper, and you're going to have this kind of drawn out for you. So that you can get your capybara the right size, and it also helps with his little hands and stuff to get everything in the right place. I want to draw in Sharpie, and you're going to draw in pencil and then trace in Sharpie. That way you can see what I'm doing, but if you make a mistake, then you can erase it, okay? So go ahead and get your pencil ready, and we're going to get started. We'll do a couple of instructions, and then we'll pause it and you can draw those, and then we'll do a couple more things and pause it, and then you can do those. So we'll be doing a little bit and then pausing, and then doing a little bit and then pausing, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the top of his head, and it's just going to be a curve from here to here above the sunglasses. And then we're going to draw his little ears. We're going to do one here and one here. Now, mine are slightly different sizes. That's okay. They don't have to be perfect. I always think our little critters look even cuter when they have some little details like that that are a little off. And then I drew the inside of the ears. Okay, so now we're going to come down to the sunglasses. And when you go to do your Sharpie, you're going to fill in your sunglasses, as you can see on this one. But I did a couple of little highlights with some rectangles, okay? And you want to make your rectangles kind of big and chunky, because when you fill them in, sometimes they get a little smaller than we want them. So I did kind of a big long one, and then I did a little short one. And then I did kind of a big long one, and then a little short one. And then when you fill that in, it's going to look good, okay? All right, now we're gonna draw the nose. It's easier to draw the nose first because it's centered and it goes right here under the sunglasses. Now their nose is not way up here. It's kind of down a little bit, okay, below the sunglasses. So I'm gonna draw the nose right here. It's kind of a rounded pentagon shape. But if you did like a circle or a little heart or something for your nose, that would be okay. And then we're gonna draw a rectangle for a highlight as well. Okay, now I'm gonna draw a big W. 1, 2, for his mouth, and that kind of encloses his nose area. You could make it smaller, it doesn't have to go that high. And then I'm going to give him a little chin down below. Okay, now I did make his cheeks fuzzy, so take your pencil, and if you want him to have, he can have smooth cheeks like how I drew him. You're going to have just a smooth line right there, but if you want him to be fuzzy, you can take your pencil and kind of draw a zigzag line right there and let him have fuzzy cheeks. Okay, and then I'm just gonna draw another line here. And there you go. Now, if you want him to have teeth, he might look a little beaverish if you give him big buck teeth, okay? But you could. If you want him to have a little tongue, that might be cute. If you're doing one and you want it to have little pink cheeks right there, that would be okay. I'm just gonna keep it simple and do some little whiskers and be done with that part. You can also come back later and add more details. Okay, so now we're gonna draw his little paws. At the ends of these, I'm gonna draw 3 fingers or toes. 1, 2, 3. And I'm gonna do that on the other side too. 1, 2, 3. And then you connect with a little line like this. Then you're gonna draw a little smile right there, like a smile line that connects the two. And I'm just gonna bring this back so you can see that's gonna be the start of his floaty, okay? And then we'll bring a big circle that goes all the way around here. And I like to do, what we're gonna do is we're gonna draw the two sides like big ears, and then we're gonna draw a wavy line along the bottom. So that makes it look more like it's in the ocean because there's some overlapping, okay? But you don't have to do it that way. You could just do a big oval right here. So like I said, I'm gonna come behind his elbow. There's his elbow. I'm gonna come behind his elbow, and I'm gonna do a big ear here. And I'm gonna come behind this elbow. I'm gonna pretend like it goes all the way through. And I'm gonna do a big ear here, okay? And then you're just gonna do a wavy line for the ocean overlapping your ring. Now down here below the wavy line, I'm gonna draw his 3 toes sticking out of the water. 1, 2, 3. And then right here, 1, 2, 3. And then we'll do another wavy line so it looks like they're sticking out of the water. Okay, now we're gonna draw a line right here for the horizon line. The horizon line is where the sky and the ground meet. So in this case, it'll be sky and ocean, okay? And then we're gonna draw a wavy line here for where the ocean and the sand meet. If you want more sand, you could do like a wavy line here, okay? And this could all be sand. I'm gonna make it come across, but if you want it to go straight across and you have a little bit more sand down here, that's fine, okay? So first we'll start with a line back here. I'm gonna put it kind of where his head is, okay? And then I'm gonna do this wavy line right there. Now at this point, you're free to do what you want. I drew a little crab and I'm gonna show you how to do that if you want to, okay? When I had my Sharpie, I had some black, like hills back here, like they're supposed to be land formations, but you could also just draw the shape of them and then paint them green or brown, okay? I drew some clouds, some birds, I drew a sun. Okay, you don't have to have a sun in your picture, but let me at least show you how to do this cute little crab before you move on. So I drew a circle with eyes, a circle with eyes. Give him a little mouth, but you don't have to do that kind of mouth, okay? And then crabs have 6 legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then his 2 front claws. Okay, so that's how you do that. And then I also drew like wavy lines in the ocean for texture. Okay, when you get your Sharpie, you're gonna trace everything that you draw, okay? And then I drew some clouds. I drew a sun. Could your sun have a face? Or maybe even like sunglasses or something to match, that's fine. If you wanna give your sun a little face, that'd be cute, okay? And then maybe some little birdies. Big birds will look close, right? Whereas small birds will look farther away, okay? And then again, I drew those little land formations. Now things in the background are gonna be small. So if you have land formations and you wanted to add, let's say, some palm trees out here, they would need to be teeny tiny, right? Okay. Or if you wanted to put like a little hut out there, boop, boop, it would need to be tiny like that, right? Because it's far away. Things that are up close are big, things that are far away are small, okay? So you're gonna draw your details and then trace them in Sharpie. And then don't forget, as you're going, to fill in very carefully. A good solution for this, if you want it to be black, is to kind of give it a double outline and then color it in. And that way, right, you're not getting out of the lines too much, okay? So again, do a double outline kind of, where you go around it a couple times, and then you can fill it in. And that way it helps keep you in the lines. And then I'll fill in his nose too, okay? Also, if you want to, you can draw decorations. I forgot to talk about that on his little floaty. If you don't want these to be the decorations, or if you want to have a different kind of floaty, that is fine. You can draw it in pencil and trace it in Sharpie. These instructions are not meant to limit you. They're meant to get you started, and then you can add your own details, okay? All right, so after you're done drawing in pencil and tracing in Sharpie, we'll talk about painting in just a minute. Okay, so we're ready to watercolor. Even if you're not ready, you can pause and watch, okay? These are our watercolors. A lot of you probably have these at home. We really like them because they give you lots of different values or shades. And they also have, they just work really good and last a long time, okay? So let's talk about some things here. I painted my capybara brown because capybaras are brown. If you paint your capybara orange or yellow or green or purple, that's fine, but it may not look exactly like a capybara, and that's okay, okay? I did my floaty rainbow, but you certainly don't have to, okay? But let's talk about the sky and the ocean. That's the most important part. If you have a blue sky and a blue ocean, they're gonna look the same, right? So we want to differentiate or create some contrast, meaning that things stand out from each other. So that's another reason these paints come in really handy. So what I did was I used a darker blue for my ocean and a lighter blue for my sky. And then I also added some green to my ocean, and you can see that, okay? And that differentiates the ocean from the sky. If you wanted the sky to be a different color, like purple, that's fine, or pink, that's fine, okay? But that's how you can do that, okay? So you're gonna use your watercolors. Remember, we have to use water to wake them up. It's like they're asleep right now, so you have to get water on your brush. And then you can pick whatever like brown you want for your capybara. Okay, and then you're gonna paint with them. You'll have a couple of paint brushes, so we wanna use little paintbrushes for little details and bigger paintbrushes for bigger details. So I'm using a smaller paintbrush for this, but I might use a big paintbrush for my ocean, okay? It doesn't really matter where you start. I'm just starting with my capybara so you can see the brown, okay? Sometimes too, you might run into where your paints want to bleed into each other. So if I paint my capybara brown, and then I want to go ahead and do the sunglasses pink, let's say, okay? The pink, because the brown is wet and hasn't dried enough yet, the pink might grab some of the brown and bring it in, or might blend outwards into the brown, okay? So sometimes it's nice to work on maybe like your capybara, and then maybe go work on your sand for a little bit because they're far apart, and then come back and do the sunglasses and the pool floaty. Or, you know, do your background first, might be good too. You can do your sky and then your ocean, okay? So we're gonna let you paint these. Let me show you really quick. If you wanna do the blue with the green, you paint it blue. You'll paint the whole ocean blue. I'm just gonna paint part of it blue. And remember, we're gonna wash our brush between colors. Okay, so I didn't paint the whole ocean blue, but you can see. And I might even use some more blue. I like this dark blue, it's really pretty. Okay, and then I'm gonna come back also with some green, and I'm going back and washing my paintbrush in between colors. Okay, so that way you don't get, and you see how pretty that is? And then you would paint like your sky a different blue, if you wanted it to be blue. And you see how they would stand out from each other and create that contrast, okay? If you have a problem with your paint, like you see how my brown, because it wasn't dry, is leaking out, okay? We can come help you do this, or look, you can just dab it with a clean paper towel, and it kind of picks up some of that color and dries it off a little bit, and then you can come back and repaint it. That's the nice thing about watercolor paper, okay? It's a lot more forgiving. So you're gonna paint everything how you want it. You're gonna paint the sand and the whatever else you added, and then we're gonna get your picture with it, and then you will leave these here to dry, and you can take them home tomorrow, okay? All right, I can't wait to see these. They're gonna look so good.